Mr. Knapsack, the match starts in 1 minute.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll be right there. Vikings just went through a real massive update with new RPG elements and a new hero. You've got to check it out. The game resembles like top PC strategy games of the 90s and 2000s. I used to love those, and we were all crazy about them. And now it's finally on mobile. Collider and Vikings are giving away 3 new iPhone X's. All you need to do is install Vikings via the links below and upgrade your palace to level 5.
And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Let's get ready to Schmoedown! Download Vikings using the links in the description below. Get your initial protection shield for free and my special bonus of 200 pieces of gold. You're going to need that for a great start.
What's going on, movie trivia Schmoedown fans? Look, we're on a little bit of a break here, just like Rachel and Ross. How do you like that reference? That's a long, old school reference.
We were on a break.
Very nice. That is Thadd Williams, your interim commissioner. I'm Kristian Harloff, former commissioner, and just merely an announcer and the champion of the movie trivia Schmoedown right now. But we're on a little bit of a break here. We had a match that just happened on Tuesday, if you want to call that a match, but. Next week, there's going to be a spectacular preview special on Tuesday.
Correct.
And then the spectacular next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday. The spectacular's finally coming. 3 videos. It's going to be absolutely insane.
We're right around the corner from the spectacular. The regular season, for the most part, is over. It is done. We have hit all the matches that we possibly could hit, and all the questions were coming after the tournament, Thad, about the rankings. Like, who is in the rankings now? Because when you went into the tournament, obviously all the numbers were in place, and now since 2 tournaments, the Innergeekdom matches that just happened, it's all over the place now.
Yes, and it's time to go through everything that's happened this season and rank all the players as we head into the spectacular. Who's on top, who's working their way up to try to get those belts, and then who has fallen down within the last few weeks.
Okay, so let's start with the Innergeekdom division. Now, the Star Wars division, right now, there's only one #1 contender, and that's Sam Witwer. Obviously, he's playing Ken Knapsack at the Spectacular. And then we will. Let me ask you about that real quick.
Sure.
Let me ask you about that because I got a.
That Tuesday was fun. That was an interesting day.
Yeah, I don't think many people use the word fun here, but what I will say is, and I want to give you a chance to explain yourself here.
Sure.
So a lot of the people have been asking because I never dealt with contracts. You love the contracts. You love your contracts.
I do. Keeps things orderly.
Or
it's supposed to.
So
I'm second guessing my entire strategy right now.
Will there be any repercussions for what Ken Knapsack did to Rachel Cushing there, or was he legitimately on the road?
I mean, unfortunately there's no proof as of now as to whether or not he was openly lying and false.
But one can guess.
One can infer that he probably has something. So it's quite possible that he might enter the 2018 season with some sort of penalty.
Okay.
I'm definitely writing off the notion he's not doing this and he's not going to be in the preview special on Tuesday because I just can't even look at him.
Is
for a couple days.
Is that why we're not? There's not going to be any inside Schmoedown or anything?
Well, yeah, but the day before last week he canceled. He said that he was busy and he couldn't do it, and I wrote it off as can't have thing. Now I mean until we can fully put this all to bed and figure out what's going on, what his plans are. Right. Is he actually in the lion's den? Did he actually do this to harm his teammate Rachel Cushing? I want to keep him off the desk as much as possible and figure out if there's any proper repercussions for possibly breaking a contract.
Understood. Okay, well, there you go. So let's get into the Innergeekdom rankings here. Let's go from 10 to 5. What do we got then?
All right, well, starting us off in the 10 spot is Charlie Feldman at a ranking of 0 and 1.
Right.
Remember, we've only had a handful of Innergeekdom matches, so a lot of these people that are lower ranked have only been in one match, and unfortunately, even if they competed well, they just have a loss on their scorecard, even if it was like a 5-way match and they just didn't compete.
Right, or it depends on how they get ranked, how many points they might have scored, how they did, the interest of whether or not they're going to play. This is almost like what the singles league was back in 2014, right? As it just got started. Just been a year old,
exactly,
and not even that many matches yet. Like
no, we haven't had that many times for them to show off their stuff. So Charlie Feldman is in at number 10. 9, also with a ranking of 0 and 1, is Erika Ishii At 8, we have the Golden Mike herself, Emma Fyffe, who is 0-2 in the Innergeekdom matches and is about to enter the Manager Bowl at the Spectacular.
And would we say that she's probably ranked higher at 0-2 because she has been in higher profile matches?
Yes, she's been in 2 matches. One of them being the one against Jason Inman a few weeks ago, which the winner of that was heading into the top contender 4-way qualifying match.
And one against Kalinowski and Jandrota, which she almost won that match.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of Kalinowski, he is also currently at 0-2, but in the number 7 spot.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's a crazy spot for him.
You look at Mike Kalinowski, the killer, the KO, and you forget that in the Innergeekdom leagues, he's technically 0-2. But something tells me he's going to get another shot pretty soon to try to improve that record a little bit.
Yeah, and then what about at number 6?
Number 6, we have the former champion, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yes, yes. Robert Meyer Burnett had the belt first.
Yeah.
You can never take that away from him.
Right.
He's the oldest competitor to have the, or excuse me, oldest is probably the wrong term.
He was the Pat Patterson.
the first competitor to take the belt and become the champion of the Innergeekdom League, which he then gave up to.
Yeah, he dropped it to Hector.
Dropped it to Hector.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, coming in number 5, a guy who just lost in his vie to try to get a title shot, and that's Coy Jandreau. He's at 1-1. Number 5. And number 4, this is interesting. This is Jay Washington. Jay Washington now has made a name for himself because he really did well in that match.
Yes, he did.
Really hard and earned his spot there and overranked Coy Jandreau, which I think that Jay was probably the last person anyone thought would get close. And he overperformed, outperformed Coy.
Yes, he outperformed Coy. There was a real chance for a second that he was going to take it over until Rachel Cushing kind of leaped over him a little bit in that match, and then obviously our champion Jason Inman. But Jay Washington was just taking everyone by surprise. I think he's got a long future in the Innergeekdom leagues.
I think so too. And then you come in at number 3. This is a tricky one here. Jeremy John stands at 2-2, and he's the number 3 contender. Now Jeremy has since moved back to. He's left Los Angeles. He's not here anymore. He's still in the rankings, obviously, and still while he's here, when he comes into LA, would like to perform. Yeah. But right now he's at 3. Might drop down the rankings as the league continues, and maybe not. Maybe he flies in January or February and plays and stays in his ranking. That's the beauty of the Innergeekdom.
Exactly.
Division.
Yes, yeah. Matches are not happening every week.
Right.
If he still wants to play and can make his way down here, we'd love to have him. He's always got an open invitation. Now,
coming in at number 2, even though she has her record is 1-2, she is, I think, maybe the most beloved character and competitor we have in the league right now, and that's the Crusher, Rachel Cushing.
Yeah, she's had one hell of a week, but she's in there at the 2 stop. She's in there at the 2 spot in the Innergeekdom rankings.
One question away. She was one question away, and Catwoman. Sharon Stone.
I mean, who ever thought that Catwoman would be remembered in any way, shape, or form? Right. And poor Rachel probably had to go back, and now she's probably watched it in the last couple days.
Maybe. Maybe she's staying away from the internet right now. I wouldn't blame her. But the support for Rachel Cushing has been overwhelming
and well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. She fought really well in that match against Inman. And speaking of which, the number 1 contender to no one's surprise is, of course, Jason Justice Inman, sitting at 2-1. He goes for his shot against Hector Navarro at the Schmoedown Spectacular, who is also the champion, is 2-1. Now, Jason Inman has been looking forward to this shot for a long time. So he's got his shot. He's won 2 straight Innergeekdom matches, and I don't know. Was destiny on Justice's side? We'll find out.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he's been gunning for this for so long and wanting to be part of this league. And we saw he expertly took down Emma Fyffe and then became the champion of that 4-way contender match to get the number 1 contender spot to go up in the Spectacular for the belt. He's been on fire.
He really has.
And I think he could possibly beam that belt over to him. But we're going to see. We're going to see. He and Hector work together, so it's going to be tough.
I'm curious how that's going to all play out, and that goes down next Friday. Obviously, championship match between Hector Navarro and Jason Justice Inman. You can see if the Nightmare can defend the championship for the 2nd time. Now, moving on over to the team division. The team division is, I mean, you look at where the team division was last year, and then fast forward to this year, and it is significantly different. The tournament. The champions have made, as much as horrible as those Patriots are as individuals, they are deserved champions.
Yeah, you can't take that away from them.
Really
I mean, they are 7-0, and I don't think
title defense.
anyone would have ever guessed that in a million years.
No.
Not just to have a 7-0 record, but the sheer fact that they've been able to hold on to the belt as long as they have.
Been a full year.
Yeah,
it's been a full year, which is crazy.
Insane.
They won the belts at last year's Spectacular.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say. It might be easy to say. I don't think anyone will ever hold the belt for a year, and they ain't done yet.
No,
they're not done.
No,
we'll have to see what happens at this Spectacular.
If they can keep a hold of it at the Spectacular, then they will literally have had it for a full 365 days.
Which is nuts.
The reign of the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, then it's also unfortunately included in the reign of Tom Dagnino in there. But all right, let's get through. Let's do 10 through 5. I'll start here.
Sure.
You get the teams, the ranking right now. Now you're going to see some teams missing here. The Wolves of Steel, obviously, who would have been very high ranked, they have disbanded after the tournament. The former two-time singles champion Mark Riley stepped back. Clark Wolf does not have a partner right now, so they are not in the league anymore. So that's why you won't see them on the list. The Misfits, or 6 Degrees, their future is kind of up in the air. Brienne's also stepping back.
Yeah, we don't know what her plans are, or when or if we will ever see her again. So
they're not on this list.
No, until Stacy and Brienne can figure that out, we just have to leave them off.
Right, and then obviously, pains me to say it, but the Nerds Watch will not be on this list because I have a funny feeling that Rachel Cushing doesn't want anything to do with Ken Napzok.
That's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Something tells me that she would not sit at a table with him anytime soon. At least not on the same team.
No. Well, this is the ranking as it stands today. Coming in at number 10 would be Critically Acclaimed at 1-1, just beating out Only Stupid Answers, also at 1-1, and Late to the Party also 1-1. But Critically Acclaimed moves it in there, and I think that it probably is you get Bibiani's singles record, probably helps him out too. He's been in it a little longer, so they just get that number 10 spot. Now number 9, this hurts me to say, and there could be an asterisk on the side of this thing here, and that's Blofeld's Cat at 2-1 with.
I mean, yes, they did technically just win by technical knockout.
That contract thing comes in, man.
I know.
I had it. I said that they could have taken anyone in that studio.
I know.
Roku was sitting right over there. And he could have played with
and we've done this before. And Draco's been involved with this kind of stuff before.
Right, and this
these
is where the
shenanigans
contract stinks.
And it makes perfect sense 99% of the time. And unfortunately, this match was put together so last minute that it just made sense. Everyone had to sign on.
They duped you.
Everyone, they did. They did. I will take the hit for this one.
All right.
They played me like a fiddle,
See,
and it's not going to happen
now
again.
You understand what I've been going through with the Lions.
It's been,
they duped you.
It was a learning curve, to say the least.
All right. So coming in at number 8, DC Movie News at 2-2. They have fallen down the chart significantly after their loss to Above the Line in the tournament, and then losing to Top That most recently. Mike Kalinowski and Adam Gertler did not perform well in their last match, and they almost looked like they weren't even on the same page in the match, in the post interview. So who knows what's going to happen here with DC Movie News?
Yeah, I mean, we thought that they were going to be around for quite some time, and they kind of stumbled in that last match. And Adam is a man of very few words, and I don't know where they stand.
Then at number 7, you've got the team of heroes. We don't know who that team is. We just know Schnepp does something with that team. It could be Hector Navarro. It could be Adam Havalik. It could be any of these particular characters or staff that he's got. I mean, heck, who knows? He might reach out to Amy Dowling. Schnepp has that rule to where whoever has kind of been on Heroes or is in this faction, Schnepp is able to put them in there. So Heroes stands at 3-2 in the 7th spot. Who knows when we'll ever see them perform again. Number 6, you talked about the number 1 Innergeekdom contender. Well, he's on a team. That's Jason Justice Inman. He's on a team with the Mance Man, Scott Mance. They are 4-3, and they are the former number 1 contenders. Now they had a run that at one point they were 3-0. They have been not great since then. They are 1-3 since their run of 3-0.
Yeah, they started getting in their own heads and too many movie release date songs, and it just
was Inman a little bit more focused on the Innergeekdom, or
quite possible,
or was it that one point maybe because when they started, Inman had such a good hold on Mance.
Yeah,
and
he could rein him in.
He could rein him in. In the last match, it didn't happen because Team Action beat them.
Yeah,
and and now because of that, Trek sits at number 6.
Yeah.
Number 5, what do we got then?
Sitting at the number 5 spot is a team that I know very well, Team Top That.
With 3-1 and 3 knockouts.
3 knockouts.
That's
They knocked my team out back when they were called Team IGN, and they are 3-1. These guys mean business. If they had been in the team tournament, if they had been able to compete in the team tournament, we might have seen a completely different outcome.
You're absolutely right.
Because these guys are insane. And they just won their most recent match, as we were talking about.
By knockout.
By knockout with DC Movie News. And something tells me they're going to keep climbing up that list.
Yeah, they beat Nerdist. They beat you guys. They have beat. Now, DC Movie News is probably, no offense to you guys, probably the highest, the best match that they had been matched up against, and they just went through them like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So they haven't been challenged by an elite team yet. Will that happen? We don't know. They have put themselves in a position for a potential #1 contender spot, like you had said. But here we go. Now we've got number 4. What's number 4?
So sitting in at number 4 is another team that changed their name this year, MODOK. They've got 5-3 record with a knockout.
Yep.
These guys were
and a
so
victory
close.
over Top That.
That's very true, and they were so close to getting that belt. We thought that those 7-0 Patriots were going to be knocked out that one time. We thought those Patriots were finally going to lose that match, but sudden death, they managed to pull it out, and here is MODOK down to the 4 spot.
Great Drake, Matt Atchny, like their 3 losses. Listen to their 3 losses. The Patriots comes to the Schmoes and Top 10. They've lost to 2. All 3 of their losses are either champions or former champions.
Yeah.
They are a legit team. Another team that was not in the tournament.
Right.
Now, if MODOK was in the tournament, top that. But this top 5 that we have right now is a murderer's row of teams.
Yes, it is.
What do you got at number 3?
Number 3, we've talked about them a lot already. Team Top 10. They're a rambunctious duo, and they've got a 7-4 record. They had the belt at one point. They don't have it now. They're not happy about it, and they're on a laser focus towards team action right now. This stipulation match between these two teams,
which I commend you for. I love that stipulation match.
I mean, it's gonna be something to see, because these 4 guys literally hate each other.
They really do.
They really do.
I thought they were going to physically fight each other in that post interview when they lost, when Action lost to Above the Line in the finals, and Guy ripped the mic out of Roka's hand, and they were kind of going back and forth, and it was, I mean, the energy, you can feel the energy where they don't really like each other at all, these teams. And the stipulation, if you didn't know, at the Spectacular, Top 10 versus Action. If Top 10 wins, they will get themselves into a #1 contender match down the line if they beat Action. And if Action wins, they will get a title shot, and Top 10 will have to break up for a full year.
Yeah.
Wow.
A full year. So if Action wins, Top 10 just kind of disappears off this list.
Right.
And everybody goes up a rung, and it's going to be
the whole team league is going to be
everything's going to get shaken up.
Yeah.
This is going to be crazy.
2.
And speaking of number 2, the guys they hate so much, Team Action. Another team that I had the unfortunate pleasure of facing. They wiped the floor with us. They're 5-2 with 2 knockouts. These guys, you can hate them, but they know their stuff.
Yeah, they had a big run in the tournament, and it's really where they're, like we say it all the time, that stars are made in the Ultimate Schmoedown, and I would say that in the team tournament, it's where Action really came to shine. Yeah. Granted, they didn't wind up winning the big prize at the very end, but they did win a lot of fans. They showed that they were legitimate. They won a whole bunch of matches. I mean, they had won 4 straight matches before their loss to Above the Line. But look at these guys. I mean, if they win this, you could be seeing them play the winners of the championship match at the Spectacular.
Yeah, yeah. If they just have to go one more time with Top 10 with Roka and Nost, and then they're on their way.
Yeah. All right, so our #1 contenders.
And the #1 contenders, the winners of the Ultimate Schmoedown Team Tournament, Above the Line. These guys, we didn't know what to expect. They showed up as brand new competitors, brand new team in this league.
Our first super team, I think.
This is the All-Stars right here.
Well, the reason I say that is because it's the first time, and I mean, I had the pleasure of matching them together after the collision. And it's the first time that there were 2 like elite singles competitors that were just put together. It was it's like throwing Dwayne Wade and LeBron James together, and then you get a championship team. And it looks like that's what's happening so far with Sam Levine and Drew McQueen.
I don't understand that reference at all. I'm just going to assume that you're like a boy band manager, just putting together the Backstreet Boys here.
Right.
But these guys, they ran through the team tournament 4-0. 4-0.
Fairly easy. Fairly easy, except the Wolves of Steel match.
They barely broke a sweat.
Yeah, Wolves of Steel gave them a good fight.
Wolves of Steel did make them sweat a little bit, but didn't matter what they spun on the wheel, didn't matter what the categories were in either round 1 or round 3. They could just answer anything. And these guys were just on fire. They were laughing at half of the questions.
They really were. The luck has gone their way. It is a different circumstance for Sam Levine this year, of course, winning both tournaments. And the first one that he won was with Above the Line. I mean, those guys just looked unbeatable. They looked unbeatable. They are 4-0. This is the first, I believe. No, this is not the first undefeated team that the Patriots will be playing. But I think that if you every single time, though, I will say that I put up a poll about who they think are going to win. The Patriots are never the ones that are, even though they've earned respect.
Of course,
they're always the ones that are the underdogs by the fans' polls.
Yeah.
And right now, Above the Line at 4-0, the fans are excited about this team. They don't look beatable, and you got to think that we might be looking at potentially new champions here.
It's quite possible.
Spectacular.
It's quite possible, and the only leg up that the Patriots have is they've done this 5-rounder a number of times now, and Above the Line is kind of new to that. They're new to the whole league, and I don't know if they've really faced a team that messes with your head quite like the Patriots do.
What's crazy about this, too, because Above the Line obviously playing the Patriots, who are the champions at 7-0 with 3 knockouts, 4 title defenses. A lot of people could argue and are arguing that maybe that this could have been the main event for the entire event. But
that's a very good point.
It'll be the main event for video number 2. There will be 3 videos. That is the video number 2. Okay, so as our time runs down here, let's get through the singles league here. 10 through 1. Take us through 10 through 5.
All right, number 10, one half, or maybe the only half of Team 6 Degrees, Stacey Howard.
Right.
There with a 2-1 record.
Yep.
Followed by someone we were just talking about, Drew McWeeny.
Interesting that he's so low.
I know.
You would assume that he was at the championship level at this point.
I think it's because he's newer to the league. His record just isn't as robust as some of these higher end players.
He's made mistakes while playing the game without Sam.
That's true.
He has answered too fast. He has forgot about multiple choice sometimes. He hasn't used the JTE rule. He's still learning. He is a relatively newer player, but his 2 losses, of course, coming to both the Patriots.
Yeah. And now at the number 8 spot, someone you know very well, Mr. Mark Ellis, Baby Carrots himself, is at 5-4 right now.
Rough year this year, man.
This was not his year.
No, he had a rough year. He lost to Clark Wolf. He lost to Stacey Howard, and he hadn't competed in so long when he played Dan Murrell. Spectacular last year.
I think that was the first. That was the first start of him kind of losing his mojo, and Dan Murrell clocked him, and he hasn't really recovered yet.
Yeah.
Someone who's been playing fantastic all year, also with a 5-4 record, Miss Clark Wolf.
Yeah, Clark had a nice run here because she beat JTE, and she beat JTE, but she lost to her partner this year, Mark Briley. Almost got herself another title shot.
That's true.
And then lost to Breanne Chandler in the tournament, which is one of the biggest upsets I think we've ever seen. She did really well in the team league this year. I know Clark Wolf is one of the most competitive competitors that we have, and look for her to make a claim next year.
Yes. At the number 6 spot, one half of the Patriots, Mr. Jeff Snyder. He's also got a 5-4 record with 2 knockouts. Jeff, he had to go up against his partner this year in the tournament, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to affect both him as a competitor and the Patriots as a team.
It doesn't look like it's even phased them. If you've seen him so far, you've seen him out and about. It doesn't seem like it phased them, but Snyder is competitive. I know that he's another one that will want to make another claim next year. We'll see what happens there. But number 5 is the former champion, the outlaw John Roca. This is the lowest he's been on the list in a long time. He lost to Sam Levine in the 2nd round, got knocked off. There was that stipulation from a collision. He needs to win 3 in a row before he even gets close to a title shot. So he's going to have a lot of work to do next season in the singles league. Mike Kalinowski at 4-2 had a great run in the tournament this year. He's 4-2 with 2 knockouts. KO has a chance. He's kind of sniffing around a number 1 contender match, but we'll have to see what happens and how that folds after the Spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on fire in the singles league, even though DC Movie News necessarily hasn't been as strong of a team.
Right.
But KO is going strong. I guess the real question is whether or not he's turning heel. But
nah, I don't buy it. He's a Ricky Steamboat. All right, number 3 is Rachel the Crusher Cushing at 3-1 with 1 knockout. Question is, how is she ranked over a 4-2? Well, I'll tell you, she has just been on fire with those 3 victories. I mean, she looked beating Scarpino in her debut singles match, then beating the android Mark Andreyko, and of course knocking out Stacey Howard. And then that 1 loss comes to the winner of the whole tournament, that's Sam Levine. So Rachel Cushing, another one who's right around that sniffing of the #1 contender spot in the singles league.
And she just scored almost 20 points by herself in a teams match this week.
Against 2 people.
Against 2 people.
Right.
She was solo, so I mean, she was playing in the teams league, but that was all her, and she was performing at the top of her game.
Now, number 2 is that pesky little evil JTE at 8-6 with 1 knockout. And you go, well, wait a minute, 8-6. How is he up at number 2 at 8-6? Well, he's not 8-6 this season. He has, listen to who he started off beating Bibiani in the first match of the season, right? Then he lost to Clark Wolf, and then he just went on an absolute tear. Beat his now stablemate Ken Knapsack, which that right away had made him 2-1 in the league, and then he had 3 straight victories in the tournament, put him at 5-1, and losing to Sam Levine. So he's 5-2 this season, and that is a great comeback story considering last year he didn't win last year, and he hadn't won, but this season hadn't won a match since 2014.
Right. I mean, I think that documentary that came out really kind of lit the fire under him.
That title, man. He loves that title.
He loves that belt. He wants more belts. He's here to play. He's here to win. And as much as, you know, he might be the butt of some jokes, he has had one hell of a year at that record. And you can't make fun of that.
No, I think he got away from a lot of those jokes, though, too. I mean, he's always going to have jokes just from the way that he says things sometimes.
Well,
but as
Geppetto.
Right, and spells things. But as far as, like, playing, I think that the entire Schmoedown community will say he was up there for Player of the Year. I mean, had he beaten Sam Levine, the conversation would be now whether or not JTE would be the shoo-in for Player of the Year, considering what he's done in teams. He's still up there as a potential Player of the Year. Maybe not singles, maybe still singles Player of the Year, but as far as overall Player of the Year, he still has a good chance of winning that come January. Number 1, man that I'm going to be very familiar with pretty soon here in just about a week, and that is the Inglorious One, Sam Levine at 7-4 with 1 knockout. What a year for Sam Levine.
I mean, to show up in that free-for-all towards the end of the game, clear the table, take down Dagnino, and then use that to go for a title match
against Meryl.
Head-to-head against Meryl, right after Meryl just defended a belt. I mean, that was a very wise move on his part. He was very close to getting it then. I'm curious to see if he tries to get it again.
Well, we'll see what happened is that he did that, and I thought, I'm going to be honest, I mean, I always thought Sam was a really good competitor, and maybe when we first brought Sam in the league, we thought he was going to be this Mike Tyson-like figure, and he had an okay year last year, just an okay. And then it looked like it was he started off, again, this year losing to Mark Riley. He lost this year, and then he won the free-for-all. Then he lost to Dan Merle. It's like, okay, well, maybe that was it. Maybe Sam peaked at this point. And he's like, I sure didn't peak. I'm going to win the team tournament. And then I'm going to beat Bibiani. Then I'm going to beat the former champion, John Roca. Then I'm going to beat the potential Rookie of the Year, Rachel Cushing. And then I'm going to beat the Player of the Year, JTE. So that was a murderer's row of what he did, and he deserved his spot. And there's a potential, if I can't push him off, he could leave the Spectacular as the first ever double champion.
Yeah, and that would be, I mean, not discounting your championship in any way, but if he's able to do that, it's a feat in and of itself to get 1 belt, and if he can manage to get 2 of them, who would have ever thought?
For a Player
who would ever have expected that?
I know. Well, that's it. Those are the rankings. That's what you got. Make sure you comment. Let us know what you thought of the rankings. Who is deserved, who's not. Who do you see as a potential champion in those rankings? The commish has a lot to do here coming up just about a week away, ladies and gentlemen, a week away from the Schmoedown Spectacular. That's right, 6 matches, 3 videos. We have, once again, just to recap, in the first video, you're going to have the Manager Bowl. Dagnino versus Washington versus Hayberg versus Fife. The winner of that match will get a #1 contender spot for anyone in their faction. And then you will get, #1 contender match, not a spot, #1 contender match. At the end of that one, you'll have the Innergeekdom Championship. Jason Justice Inman tries to fulfill his destiny by winning the championship against the dominant champion, Hector the Nightmare Navarro. Video 2 will then start out with the Star Wars Championship. Anything you have to say about that match?
Well, you know, that's very interesting that you mentioned that, because when Sam Witwer won the challenging position in that match, beating the other 4 competitors on the desk, he challenged Ken, whatever his new nickname is, Knapsack, to an Iron Man format.
Right.
30-minute timed match, as many questions as we can throw at them.
I see you got interested on that.
I kind of got interested in it.
Is that what it is?
You want to make fun of my contracts. When I got Ken to sign on to the Blofelds match, I also got him to sign on to the Iron Man match, and I double-checked with him, and that match is staying put. That contract is locked.
And loaded.
It's going to be an Iron Man format.
Look at that.
30 minutes, as many questions as we can get to. They're going to have the boards. They're going to be showing them up at the same time, and it's just going to be head-to-head. Just insane.
30-minute time limit.
Yeah, 30-minute time limit.
Wow, everything I ever said about you, I take it back.
Well, thank you very much.
There you go. We have a Iron Man match for the Star Wars Championship. The Warrior, Sam Witwer, against the pit boss, Ken Knapsack, and his new found, whatever the hell you want to call it. And then we've got the main event of that video, the dominant champions, the Patriots, 7-0 with 4 title defenses, will take on the Ultimate Schmoedown Team winners, above the line Sam Levine and Drew McWeeny, for the championship. Finally, in video 3, you got the grudge match starting us off. Top 10, the former champions, John Roca, Matt Nost, going up against Team Action, Drew and Ben. If Top 10 loses, they break up for a year, and Action will get a title shot. If they win, they will get a #1 contender spot down the line. Finally, I will be putting my championship on the line against the Ultimate Schmoedown Singles winner, the inglorious one, Sam Levine. It's up there. It is a stacked card.
Yeah.
Can't wait for you guys to see it, and check out on Tuesday when the commish, Thadd Williams and Jen Sturger, will have a full spectacular preview on Tuesday during the normal spot. Go to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown page and go join that right now. A lot of stuff going on there, a lot of interesting stuff. Go ahead and have some conversations with your fellow Schmoedown fans, and check out the Schmoedown Rundown every Saturday on the Schmoes Know iTunes feed and the SK Plus channel. You've got Brad Gilmore, Brian Davids, and Frank Janish going over everything in the world of Schmoedown, and it's a good way to keep up on your fantasy stats. Commish, thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
And we'll see you guys next time. Let's get ready to Schmoedown.